What's going on, everybody? Ronnie DiMaggio here, product specialist at BMW of Morristown. And in today's video, we're going to be doing a walk around and overview with this 2022 BMW X3M Competition. So we did the entry-level xDrive 30 X3, we did the M40 in our hidden features video, and now we have an X3M Competition. So we're going through all of the ranks of the X3 lineup. So the X3M obviously sits on top of that X3 lineup, being the most performance-oriented car, as well as the most luxurious X3 that you can get. So it is the cream of the crop for the X3s. Like with all M cars, it does come with more standard features. You get way more performance out of a totally new engine, suspension, brake setup, all that good stuff that you would expect out of a BMW that wears an M badge. So the X3M is a really cool car. For me personally, I've always liked the X3 and its dimensions as far as BMW SUVs go. So in 2017 or around there, when they announced the X3M for the new generation, I was super excited. I really like this car. That excitement continues as I've spent some time with this one. It's just a fantastic car, really fun to drive, just to be in. It's just a great car. So let's start talking about it. We'll talk about all of the exterior styling elements. We'll start though under the hood. Being an M car, the engine is of course pretty important to talk about. And I do want to say, as you guys might be noticing, the car is a little bit dirty today. We got a bunch of rain last night. We had it nice and clean for you, but what are you going to do with the weather? So under the hood of the X3M is BMW's S58 twin turbocharged inline 6. It displaces 3 liters. And in competition trim, it makes a matching 503 and 479 pound-feet of torque. Matches the M3 and the M4 competitions. In the pre-LCI X3Ms, they made a little bit less power, had a slightly less internally robust S58 engine, but for the LCI, it got a forged lightweight crankshaft that we get in the M3 and the M4, so this is kind of S58 Gen 2 or TU maybe. I'm not sure if they actually released a technical update, called it the S58 TU, but it is updated with that lightweight crankshaft and increased power for 2021 and 22 models, 23 of course as well, so for that LCI version of the X3. As you can see under the hood, it actually looks way different than the M3 and M4's S58. The engine cover looks aesthetically different. It just kind of looks like a different engine. It is the same engine with some revised, I believe, like the intake piping and routing is slightly revised to fit the X3 chassis as opposed to the 3 and 4 series chassis, but still the great S58 that we all know and love. This engine has proven to be insanely potent, even in stock form, but if you throw some aftermarket stuff at it, it becomes an absolute beast. If you guys were at Impact not too long ago, we had, or not we, but somebody had an X3M out on the track putting up some numbers that were competing with supercars and really highly modified M cars. So these are really potent, even in stock form. S58 is a fantastic engine, but that's the engine. It is paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission and MX drive. It is not configurable like the M5 and the M8 and the M3 with their MX drive systems. You can't make it fully rear-wheel drive in the SUVs, but you can put it into 4-wheel drive sport for a little extra slip if that's what you want. So let's talk about some styling. The front of the X3M, like all M cars, is totally unique to the X3M. You can't get a fascia like this on the X3 M40 or the base M3 or X3 with M Sport. It is unique. It has unique dual slat M kidney grills with the X3M badge up there in the top right. And the unique part of the X3M's front fascia, if we want to move back a little bit and take a look at this area right here, these kind of L-shaped vents are what distinguish the X3M from something like the X3 M40 or the X3 with M Sport package. That is how you can identify an X3M in your rear view mirror, those big kind of L-shaped vents. And on a dark car like this one's carbon black, it's kind of hard, it doesn't stand out as much, but if you get something like Sao Paulo yellow or white, these L-shaped vents stand out really nicely and give it a nice kind of solid identity as the X3M over the X3 M40 and whatnot. We do have LED headlights as well, which have a nice looking daytime running light. Even without the laser lights, you get the kind of signature BMW running light. Looks really nice. If we want to move around to the side of the car, we can take a look at these wheels. So the wheels are a 21 21 in the front, 21 in the back. It's not staggered the wheels, however the tires are 255 in the front and a 265 in the back, so 10 mil wider back. You have a 4-piston front caliper, drilled and slotted, internally vented front rotor, so pretty serious 2-piece rotor, 4-piston calipers, and a 395, almost 400 millimeter brake rotor as well. So some serious stopping power like you would expect out of an M car. The brakes are plenty adequate, more than adequate, superlative in being able to stop the car. Really impressive stopping distances. As far as styling goes, you do have some things unique to the X3M. You have the side vent, you have the M winged mirror. See that X3M badge in the side vent. You have your M wing mirrors. That's kind of become a hallmark of BMW M cars. We do still have roof rails trimmed in gloss black for the X3M, which looks really nice as opposed to like a satin finish that you would get on, say, an X-Line X3. The side skirts, the lower like kind of rocker panel areas are, again, unique to the X3M, as are most of the exterior body panels. Looking at the back wheel, of course, same style as the front, 21, just 10 millimeters wider. You do still have a drilled 2-piece vented rotor, single piston in the back, but as I'm sure you know, the front brakes do the vast majority of the work when it comes to hauling a car down to the stop. And even for a 21-inch wheel, something I kind of noticed as we were looking at this car, you still have a lot of tire on there. It's a 40 aspect ratio, so a little bit meatier of a tire than you might expect for a 21. And it looks nice. It looks, it has that kind of athletic tire look. It's not super low profile like that rubber band look, which does look really cool. I like that look a lot, but the meatier tire setup just kind of has more of a performance feel to it. As far as the back of the car, the X3M gets a really nice looking roof spoiler. You have, of course, the black X3M badge with the competition underline. And if we look at the lower part of the bumper, you have your M quad tip exhaust, of course, signature of the M cars, with a unique diffuser and lower valence. Being an LCI version of the X3, you have kind of the halo sword looking lights, which look really cool, and they light up really clearly at night. That's just the internal part, but this kind of area lights up a nice bright red when the lights are on. Looks really good. One of the many improvements that you get with LCI over pre-LCI. But that is going to do it for the outside of the car. Let's take a look at the trunk as well as rear seat space and some of the practicality elements, and then we'll hop up front and talk about the front kind of cockpit area. All right, so let's talk about the cargo area of the X3M. If you have an X3 already, this will be very familiar to you. Cargo area is the same for the X3M as opposed to the regular X3 or M40 or the other cars in the X3 lineup. But that is to say, it's a very practical trunk. Plenty of room for all your things. You can fit 5 people and 5 people's luggage in the trunk, no problem. You do also have some underfloor storage. We have all our floor mats and front plate bracket, so on and so forth, stored under there. But it is a lot of space even under the cargo area, which is really nice. If you have some things that you want to carry in the car all the time, you can kind of hide them away under there, not really have to worry about taking up cargo space with whatever it is you want to carry. So let's go ahead and close up the trunk, and we'll take a look at the rear seat space if we want to come around this way. Now, the X3 is a really practical car. Most people buy the entry-level X3 or even the X3M as an everyday vehicle, maybe for family, something like that. And that is obvious in the back seat. We have plenty of room sitting behind my own driving position here. Plenty of leg room. I couldn't want more leg room. Plenty of headroom as well, even with the panoramic sunroof. So at about 5'9", I fit back here perfectly, sitting behind myself. As far as rear seat amenities, this particular one is equipped with rear climate control. You have rear heated seats, you have USB-Cs, you have your carbon fiber trim, speakers, so on and so forth. So you have a center armrest as well. So nice amenities in the back. It's not a 7 Series, of course, but for kids or whoever might be riding back there, totally fine. Rear heated seats is a really nice benefit, rear climate control. You have everything you could want. You have rear sunshades as well, so a bunch of nice stuff in the back of the X3M. But that's going to do it for the trunk and the back seat. Let's hop up front and go over what is found up there. All right, so here we are on the interior of the X3M Competition. So like with any M car, you get pretty substantial interior upgrades over the series car. You get more standard features, more available features, better leather quality, things like that, some different trim options. So let's start with the driver-centric stuff, starting with the steering wheel. You do get the M steering wheel with the M tricolor stitch in the middle of the hollow third spoke, and of course your M1 and M2 configurable drive mode buttons that you can press on the fly to switch between your different drive modes. If there's any reason you want to click into a sportier mode, it's just right at the tip of your fingers. You can click the button and you're there. Paddle shifters on the back of the steering wheel as well. As for the gauge cluster, it is pretty similar to what you would see in a regular iDrive 7 equipped vehicle. However, with the M cars, there are some things specific. For example, if you want to get in a little bit closer here, we can take a look at the actual bar that controls the RPMs is gray rather than black or orange. You can see there as I rev it up a little bit. That's unique to the M cars. Obviously, the X3M badge right up there is unique to the M cars. So that's nice to see some more unique changes. Also, of course, if we press the M mode, we get the kind of dual pillar tachometer with the speed and gear position really big right up in the middle there. That also changes my heads-up display, which is really difficult to show on camera, but I get a nice bar style tachometer, which looks really cool. And then in the M mode, I can configure what is shown on the right with my BC button. So I can say, have my water temperature and boost pressure over there on the right. Then if we go into the iDrive menu, we can configure the left side in our sport mode to be tire data, for example. So now I have every important temperature metric that I could want on a track or something like that. For example, I have my tire pressure and temperature over there. I have my water temperature, boost pressure, and oil temperature on the right with my speed, gear position, and tachometer front and center, nice and big. So nicely legible gauge cluster and nicely configurable as well. As for the seats, the X3M has 2 seat options. With the competition package, you get the M Sport seats, which are a little more heavily bolstered, look a little sportier, have more of a kind of one-piece design. The headrest is a little bit more well integrated, and you have configurable side bolsters, which can hug you in really tight if that's what you like, which I do like. I like a really tight bolster, so that's nice. Lumbar support, and then of course your standard adjustments as well. So the seats are super comfortable. The X3M is almost always going to be an everyday car for most people, so good to have comfortable seats. Super easy car to get comfortable in, which is fantastic. As for tech, in the center we have iDrive 7, as you would expect, same as on the standard X3, save for some slightly different things. For example, the highlight is red rather than orange. We have our M menu in the settings under the car menu as well. So obviously some things are going to be M specific. However, most of what you're looking at will match a standard X3. As for trim, we do have carbon fiber. You can get carbon fiber in the X3 M40, not the regular X3, but that looks really nice, adds kind of a sporty flair. You also have a really cool looking, and I love that BMW does this on a bunch of the M cars now, X3M Competition badge down here in the lower center area by the cup holders. And we can pull this back if we want to for our smartphone tray, and our cup holders, USB as well. 12-volt power outlet, so nice practicality under there for storage. You have plenty of room if you're wondering about storage space. In the door cards, you have a huge bottle holder and an even bigger extra space for whatever you would need in the door cards, which is really nice. As for the center stack area, all the climate controls are just the same as the standard X3 right in the middle there, radio controls, and then down here in the center console, things are a little bit different, mostly with the shifter. We have our M8 speed transmission, and the shifter for that is a little bit different. So rather than forward and backwards, you go to the right for drive, to the left for neutral, and then to the left and up and in, like BMW manual transmissions for reverse. And then park is this button right here. We have our drive logic selector for shift speed, so you can adjust how quickly you want the car to shift. If you want a more leisurely, kind of relaxed shift in a comfort setting, dial that all the way down. Then if you want a quicker shift, you can dial that up for the really snappy, kind of dual clutch-esque shifts. iDrive knob, some gloss black trim, and then our standard buttons up here. Really nice red start-stop button. I love that BMW does the red start-stop buttons in the M cars now. A lot of people did that aftermarket on M cars of old, so nice to see that it's included standard here. And then, of course, you have your 3 M specific buttons. The M mode, which changes the gauge cluster look, as well as the heads-up display. Setup to configure the drivetrain, the engine, the steering for your different drive modes. And then, of course, your active exhaust button. Speaking of the active exhaust button, actually, why don't we show you guys a really quick rev clip. So take a listen to that now. All right, so with that exhaust clip, that is going to wrap it up for the interior of the X3M. Overall, really nice place to be, really nice materials. You get like the merino leather as opposed to the lesser, quote-unquote, leather options. Not really lesser, they're still very nice, but the merino is top trim for BMW, so you get that in the X3M. So nice materials, really comfortable seats, really nice steering wheel, feels properly sporty and properly upgraded over a standard X3 in here. So really nice place to be. That's going to do it inside. Let's hop outside and wrap up. All right, so that is going to do it for this walk around and overview with this X3M competition. Hope you guys enjoyed checking out the X3M. Like I said, it is a favorite of mine in the BMW lineup. I've always liked the X3, and I was really happy when they brought out the M version for the latest generation. The LCI only improves on that. So great car overall. Hope you guys enjoyed checking it out with us. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions about the X3M or suggestions for future videos, please drop those in a comment below. We respond to every single comment. We respond to every DM on Instagram, comment on Instagram. We're super active on social media. So drop a comment. Like I said, like the video, please. If you think we deserve it, subscribe to the channel as well. And follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok at BMW of Morristown. But that's going to do it for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.